Days of Our Lives excites as Dr. Wilhelm Rolf is thrilled to report this week to Gwen Rischek and E.J. DiMera that his miracle serum, combined with the Versix, has brought the dead lab rats back to life. They're not tap dancing, but they are squeaking and very much alive. So, who's going to be the first of the human trials that Dr. Rolf said they're ready to start? I suspect we'll have not one, not two, but possibly 3 resurrections to prove Dr. Rolf's new super serum works. Dr. Rolf seemed pretty annoyed that Gwen was nagging him and saying that he was moving too slowly down in the lab this week. Gwen was going on about how much money she'd put into the lab and was ranting to Dr. Rolf about wanting results right now. She wants that ROI because Dmitri von Leuschner-DiMera has closed the checkbook and she's broke. As Gwen was griping, Dr. Rolf basically told her to pipe down and listen. That's when we heard the rat squeaking. His magical medical blend of the 2 drugs brought the dead rodents back to life. We know, of course, that Salem has had many resurrections thanks to Dr. Rolf in the past. But there were always side effects and issues. They didn't come back quite right, at least not to start with. Now that he has perfected it, this mixture could make EJ and Gwen hundreds of millions of dollars. Cheating death is worth a mint. Dr. Rolf, of course, is in it for the twisted pleasure of defying traditional medicine and working miracles by going where a legit scientist won't go, beyond the boundaries of morality, ethics, and mortality. Clearly, the person that EJ wants resurrected, and the reason for all this effort, in addition to the potential cash flow, is the person in the big human-sized test tube in the secret part of Dr. Rolf's lab. He wants this person revived, but I don't think E.J. DiMera wants to start the human trials on them. They're too important to him. I think Dr. Wilhelm Rolf is going to test the new serum on some other human guinea pigs first, so E.J. can see how it goes. Once it's perfected, then he'll tell Dr. Rolf, "Okay, let's do it. Resurrect the mystery person in the cryogenic chamber." One practical option is for EJ to have Dr. Rolf bring somebody back who died more recently rather than someone who's been in cold storage for years. We know from confirmed Days of Our Lives spoilers that Sean Douglas Brady is shot in the line of duty soon. This seems like it could be part of the Stephanie Johnson kidnapping storyline that involves the reveal of Owen Kent as the villain and a big showdown in the park. We know it happens soon because it's winter in Salem, and Sean is shot and falls onto snow. If his shooting injury is fatal, I could see EJ telling Dr. Rolf that they should test the combo serum on Sean. That would be a win-win, because Bell Black would be thrilled that EJ saved Sean's life. And of course, he still loves Bell. That could be one resurrection that Dr. Rolf performs. There's another corpse that might be ready to experiment on right now that's pretty fresh. That cadaver's name is Peter Blake. We know that Dr. Rolf is responsible for injecting Peter and causing him to go code blue. They worked on him, but they couldn't revive him, and he is supposedly dead. It could be that EJ told Dr. Rolf to kill Peter off because he kidnapped his family. It could have the dual purpose of using him as an unwilling test subject and taking care of the kidnapper. The drug that Dr. Rolf gave Peter might have made him code, but then he only seemed dead, and he wasn't really dead yet. Dr. Rolf might have Peter down in the lab on life support ready to kill him and then resurrect him. Or Peter might have really died from the lethal injection and Rolf could have him in cold storage ready to use as a human test subject because Peter is disposable. If the drug doesn't work and he doesn't come back to life, or Dr. Rolf reanimates Peter, and then things are complicated and he dies again, that's fine. Nobody but Kristen DiMera and her daughter, Rachel Black, care about Peter anyway. If Dr. Rolf tests the serum on both Sean and Peter successfully revives them, I think EJ would give Dr. Rolf the green light to inject the mystery person in the tube. Even if he doesn't resurrect Sean, I still feel like Peter is going to end up as a lab rat. I expect that the mystery person in the tube is none other than Lexi Carver. She died of an inoperable brain tumor very similar to Bo Brady's. When EJ heard how the Versix was a miracle for Bo Brady, that might have been what inspired Elvis Jr. to start planning to resurrect his late sister. Days writers have been dropping clue after clue, hinting that Lexi is the person in the tube. First, there's the way EJ talks to that person in a loving way, suggesting the person is a woman. We all know he cared about his sister Lexi a great deal on Days of Our Lives. EJ told the tube person he was sorry after his nephew Theo Carver suffered a brain injury at the hands of Peter Blake. Plus, Abe Carver and Theo have mentioned Lexi. Abe brought her up a few times while talking about how she wouldn't want Theo to be part of the DiMera family business. In the big winter promo, Dr. Rolfe says to the tube person, "I hope you're ready, my dear." That also tells us that there's a woman inside the tube. We know Rafe Hernandez gets a peek at the tube when he breaks into the lab, and he'd be shocked to see Lexi there. Everybody thinks she's been dead since 2012. In the same promo, we see EJ bringing Paulina Price into the lab and shocking her. EJ says, "There's something I'm finally ready to show you," as he pulls back the lid on the test tube, and Paulina Price's jaw drops. EJ and Paulina hate each other. Bringing back Lexi could have a couple of purposes. First, EJ gets his darling sister back, the one he actually likes, unlike Kristen. Second, EJ assumes that Abe would run away from Paulina and run right into Lexi's loving arms, breaking Paulina's heart. Since she encouraged Johnny DiMera to cut ties with EJ, he may think it's a fitting punishment that Paulina loses Abe. It's hard to imagine Lexi coming back from the dead and Abe staying with the mayor. In the end, I believe the test tube person will be the third person resurrected, but maybe the second. It might just be Peter, and then Lexi. EJ may also want to make it up to Lexi that Andre DiMera caused her death all those years ago by exposing her to toxins. We'll have to wait and see, but hopefully not much longer. Since we're in February sweeps, we could have not one, not two, but possibly 3 resurrections in Salem. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, January 28th, have a shocker for Abe and a trap for the person out to get Stephanie. Key takeaways. Rafe has news for Abe. Steve, Stephanie, Alex, and Jada have yet another plan. A big day for Marlena. And Kayla. Johnny goes to Kate for help. The Salem Police Department is very bad at its job, and the ISA isn't much better. So while big things are happening that he can't do anything about, Rafe focuses on smaller issues, like the bones dug up at the DiMera crypt, and the stalker fixating on Stephanie. What does Abe have to do with either of those cases? Could it be that the skeleton belongs to someone Abe once loved? Or is it that Stephanie's superfan is Liam, the young man Abe is tutoring? If it is Liam, then Steve, Alex, and Jada are onto him. Or they're onto whoever it is. Or they have a plan to smoke out Liam. Or whoever it is. The point is, they're doing something, and it's terribly clever, and they should have this case solved any minute now. Kayla has been there for Marlena since her friend lost John. And even though time has passed, Kayla hasn't forgotten to keep offering support. Now they both have something to celebrate, and Kayla is determined to make sure Marlena does it. Meanwhile, Johnny turns to Kate for professional advice. Just because she's not his grandmother, she's his twin sisters. They're still family. Kind of, right? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, January 27th. Reveal a mystery is solved. Meanwhile, there is no love between Kristen DiMera and EJ DiMera. Plus, Paulina Price worries. Here's what you need to know. First, the bones in the DiMera crypt are identified. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal Rafe Hernandez got the call to close out the previous episode. He'll likely break the news to EJ those bones belong to his father. This should lead to a memorial before long, where the DiMeras appear to be one unit, which is surprising given the next one. Elsewhere, Kristen rejects EJ's sympathy. Since they already discussed her brother's death, we think this is more about their father, not to mention that he knows Kristen has now suffered 2 big blows close together. But Kristen is still determined to make EJ pay, and she wants nothing to do with him. We're curious to see how this evolves over time to the scene we saw with them all together, and EJ saying, "The house of DiMera will not fall." Finally, Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal Chanel Dupree got some good news about her pregnancy and health. It was good enough that even Johnny DiMera is fully on the yay for babies train. However, someone else is still going to be Wart. It seems Paulina worries about Chanel. Now, this could be for any number of reasons. She could still be cautiously way for Chanel's health, given all the concerns Johnny brought up. Or, she might be worried about Chanel already being tired and expecting a second child. She might think Chanel and Johnny might need more help to get her through this pregnancy and make sure it's healthy and safe. And if that's the case, we can see Paulina going all out to make sure they have tons of help. We wonder how long until Paulina might wear out her welcome, because you know she'll make sure to be around a lot. As for Abe Carver, he'll be busy elsewhere as he has a session with Liam Selejko. Abe better make good use of their time, because if the weekly is any indication, there's about to be trouble with his 2T. Salem is snow-covered as Chanel chats with little T. Johnny overhears as she tells him about his upcoming little brother or sister. With that, the two embrace, but Johnny still looks all kinds of concerned. Sarah walks into her exam room and is surprised to find Kristen there. She says she is there to discuss Rachel. Kristen appreciates Sarah's help, but says she can handle everything and no longer needs her assistance. The two of them go off. Kristen tells her to stay away from Sarah, and she tells Kristen to find a new doctor. Johnny and Chanel arrive at the hospital and run into Kristen. Chanel goes after her sister-in-law for not being in prison, and Kristen quickly makes her exit. Johnny tries to calm his wife and says there is a hearing coming up to settle things moving forward. Chanel and Johnny show up for their first ultrasound, ready to take a peek at their growing child. She tries to prep the couple about what they may or may not hear in the ultrasound. She promises they will be able to see if the pregnancy is viable. It doesn't take long for Sarah to determine the pregnancy is in good shape. Chanel is thrilled and grabs Johnny's hand. Sarah says she is ready to proceed with the pregnancy and notes the cancer is less likely to return. Gwen and Dr. Rolfe are in the sketchy lab. She goes off on him, saying she has put in so much money and wants results. Dr. Rolfe tells him to be patient as they are on the cusp of success. Just then, they hear rats making noises, and Gwen can't believe he actually regenerated life. She can't believe Dr. Rolfe actually brought the rats back to life and knows EJ will be thrilled. Rafe is at his place when Kat arrives in response to his text. He notes almost everyone is gone except Gabby, and admits he is enjoying the quiet. Rafe asks if Mark let her into the sketchy lab, but she says she was unsuccessful in her task. She knows she needs to try again, but they worry about the ever-present Rita. Kat says she has another date with EJ planned when he gets back into town, but promises to play by the rules. She asks from his grave. They talk about the money of it all, and how Dimitri would have to deal with about going to Alemania with Eli. And Rafe says Bo and Hope are there to watch over taking Stefan from his grave. They chat a bit more and note it's very likely both Stefan and Stefano are no longer with them. Kat and Rafe continue to chat, and he says Kristen offered to help them take EJ down. Rafe isn't certain what is going on, but can't dismiss it. He is going to take her offer to the higher-ups to consult about whether or not to proceed. With that, Kat gets a text from Rita saying EJ has returned. Rafe gets a call from Shane with an ID on the bones in the crypt. Dimitri and EJ discuss the Gwen of it all. EJ says Gwen showed up on his doorstep and took her in because no one else would. Dimitri can't believe his ex-beloved was in the family home when he was in captivity. He suspects Gwen because of how he was extricated and brought to Salem just in time to ruin Leo's wedding. He says he has his money back, and a forensic accountant is investigating how his money has been spent. With that, Dimitri exits. Kristen walks in and tries to avoid EJ. He asks about Peter, and Kristen says he spoke to her before he expired. His words were brief but impactful. With that, she exits. Gwen arrives to see EJ, who asks her to close the door behind her. EJ rises and goes off about her bringing back Dimitri without his knowledge. He knows she wanted revenge, but can't believe how much she risked, including her fortune. Until they start making money, they need Dimitri's money to stay afloat. With that, she tells him about Dr. Rolfe regenerating the rats and how the drug is ready to be tested on humans. EJ calls Dr. Rolfe, who confirms Gwen's report. She pours them some dark liquor, and the two continue to be snarky whilst drinking. Afterwards, she says she will take care of Dimitri and re-secure her fortune. She goes on to say she wants to frame Dimitri for being Peter's accomplice in the kidnappings. Kristen runs into Dimitri, who is enjoying his meal in Horton Square. They get all kinds of snarky about Megan and Peter before they move along to her, saying he owes her money. Peter says he is now out and proud and no longer up for being blackmailed. She notes she has left the mansion, and he won't be long for that world himself. Monday's episode of Days of Our Lives leaned hard into classic soapy madness as Dr. Rolf revealed that his experimental formula has successfully brought dead rats back to life, much to Gwen's delight, and with human trials already on the horizon. Meanwhile, Rafe received shocking news connected to the crypt kidnappings. EJ discovered Dimitri's return to Salem, and the DiMera power struggle grew on multiple fronts. Here's what happened on Days of Our Lives for January 26, 2026. Dr. Rolf was busy proving once again that Salem's most unhinged science experiments never stay buried. After Gwen pressured him for results, Rolf triumphantly revealed that his formula has successfully revived rats that were previously dead. Gwen was thrilled, and her excitement only grew when Rolf confirmed the next step would be human trials. Elsewhere, Rafe and Kat compared notes on their respective investigations, and he filled her in on the looming 7-year mark since Stefano DiMera was presumed dead, a legal milestone that would allow his heirs to claim his fortune. Kat was blindsided when Rita called to inform her that EJ had already returned home, cutting their plans short. After she left, Rafe received a call from Shane with shocking news. The bones found in the crypt have finally been identified, leaving Rafe visibly shaken. At the hospital, Kristen confronted Sarah, demanding she stay away from Rachel and blaming Sarah's past actions for parts of her daughter's trauma. The confrontation ended with Sarah angrily refusing to continue treating Kristen and Kristen leaving smugly. Tensions were high when Kristen then crossed paths with Johnny and Chanel, leading to a strained exchange just before the couple's ultrasound appointment. Thankfully, Sarah confirmed the pregnancy was healthy, giving Johnny and Chanel a moment of genuine joy as they agreed it was time to start sharing the news. Back at the DiMera mansion, EJ was stunned to find Dimitri had returned to Salem. Dimitri accused Gwen of orchestrating his kidnapping and announced plans to hire an accountant to uncover what she had done with his money. He also made it clear that once the divorce is final, Gwen is out of the mansion. After Dimitri left, EJ angrily summoned Gwen to the mansion and confronted her. She revealed Rolf's breakthrough and her plan to frame Dimitri as Peter's accomplice. The two celebrated until Kat walked in and immediately sensed something was off. Kristen later clashed with Dimitri in the town square, reminding him of money he owed her and warning him that DiMera family politics are ruthless. Dimitri made it clear he isn't giving her a dime or leaving Salem again, setting the stage for an explosive power struggle. The answer Rafe receives about who once occupied the bones found in the crypt leads to more questions on Tuesday, January 27th. The identity of the mystery skeleton solves one DiMera mystery and launches another. EJ makes another attempt at offering Kristen his condolences and receives another rejection. Chad makes the decision to withhold information from Theo, a decision that may come back to bite him down the line. And even though Sarah told Johnny and Chanel that everything was on track with their pregnancy, Paulina couldn't help but worry about her daughter and everything that could still go wrong. Meanwhile, Abe continues to work with Liam, unaware that he may be responsible for his son's kidnapping. What deceased Salemite would you like to see Rolf use his new formula to bring back from the dead? Let us know who you'd like to see rise from the grave in the comments. All I can say is hide the kitchen utensils. Jackie Harry teased about her upcoming story arcs on the soap opera Days of Our Lives. Harry is many things to daytime viewers. A scene-stealing star, a comic presence, who can pivot to pathos in a heartbeat, and now Paulina Price, the powerful mayor of Salem on the classic soap. Harry said this role as Price asks her to balance authority, family devotion, and the messy work of keeping a community intact. Harry sat down with BET Current during a set visit and described her Price character in 3 words: strong, forthright, honest, and playful. Those qualities are on full display as Price deals with her daughter's cancer treatment, a new grandchild on the way, and in what appears to be her family's season of joy. But Harry reminds viewers the calm rarely lasts on Days of Our Lives. "I like tension. The actor in me wants tension," she admitted, knowingly hinting at the soap's appetite for upheaval. The show teases that March will bring an unexpected return that upends the mayor's world. "I don't want to be too happy. That ain't real," she said. Harry's Paulina is someone who can use political savvy and bedside tenderness with equal skill. Asked if she could ever imagine herself as an actual mayor, Harry was candid and self-aware. "She's really close to me, but I could never be mayor with my record of things I've done," she said. This quick, wry admission shines a light on both the demands of political office and the dramatic fun of playing one on television. For Harry, the role is also a creative homecoming. The actress, who has spent decades on stage and screen, spoke about her relationship with work, admitting, "Work, work, work. Oh, the workaholic I still am." That steady appetite is one reason she returns to soap life with such relish. She shared that Mayor Paulina Price allows her to flex a broad emotional range. "I get to be stern, I get to be silly, I get to be maternal," she said. And it's that triad that makes Price resonant for longtime fans and new viewers alike. The actor also reflected on the responsibility of portraying a formidable Black woman in daytime drama. She emphasized authenticity and the small choices that make Price real, like gestures or looks that communicate authority without losing warmth. "Paulina is someone folks can rely on," Harry said. "And I take that seriously." Harry has been acting professionally since 1973 and has earned many credits, including making history as the first Black woman to win an Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a comedy series in 1987 for her role as Sandra in 227. And with those credits, Harry admitted her ego led her down a road she's not proud of. "Back in the 80s and 90s, that was the way to be," she started. "I was an it girl, that's what they called me. You don't need that now. I was an actress who wanted to be at the best parties, have the success. The ego is always there, and you need it as an actress to face the rejection that you get." Harry went on to share a story of how a former PA, Kenya Barris, had to remind her that he used to bring her scripts during her 227 days, and she just did not remember him. Harry asked him if she was kind, and he said she was. But the embarrassment of her ego not allowing her to acknowledge him as a person back in those days has haunted her throughout her career. For someone who wanted to be a serious actress who happened to be funny, Harry had no idea that being in sitcoms would make her career what it is today. "Now, I don't even care about that. I do care about being kind, without being a wuss. I'll still get you." Harry still hasn't landed her dream role, which she said would be something similar to who the late Diane Carroll played in Claudine. "That's who I want to be like, just a full, complete, raw, vulnerable woman." There's no rest for the weary, and there's no stop to the drama in Salem, USA. That includes the extended Price Carver Dupree clan on Days of Our Lives. Emmy-winning actress Jackie Harry sat down with BET Current to tease what's headed Paulina's way this spring. Always quick on her feet with a clever quip, Harry described what's coming up in the following fashion. The sister alum, added that March 2026 will bring a surprise return that will really affect the mayor and her family. What twists and turns do you foresee Paulina and her loved ones will have to deal with? Sound off in the comments. As the new week rolls in, Days of Our Lives fans are eager to get spoilers. The popular soap opera is back with some more unexpected and dramatic moments. Needless to say, viewers can't wait to find out what this week has in store for the beloved characters. So, here's a preview of the upcoming Days of Our Lives episodes. Here's a spoiler preview for all Days of Our Lives episodes this week. The week begins with Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree sharing some romantic moments on the show. Meanwhile, EJ returns to Salem and gets into an intense exchange with Gwen. Additionally, Rafe identifies the person whose bones were in the crypt. Kat is also on the case, but the pair is unaware that they are working on the same case. In this episode, fans will finally find out whose bones are in the crypt. Elsewhere, Paulina continues to worry about her daughter, while Chad decides to keep some crucial information hidden from Theo. The episode will also see EJ trying to offer his sympathy to Kristen, but she shows no interest. And finally, Abe and Liam team up. This upcoming episode will see both Kayla and Marlena celebrate some significant milestones in their lives. Meanwhile, Johnny seeks Kate's advice on business. Also, Rafe has some distressing news for Abe. Fans will also find out whether Stephanie, Alex, Jada, and Steve are successful in capturing the stalker. The episode will see Ari receive a warning from her mother, while Chanel reaches out to Sophia. Additionally, Chad gets some words of comfort from Jennifer, who assures him that she will be there if he needs any help. Finally, Bonnie gets some positive news from Johnny. In the final episode of the week, Brady has a candid conversation with Sarah, quite possibly about their future. Meanwhile, Rachel receives help from Kristen and Belle, while Marlena puts Xander on notice. Also, Leo tries his best to get Dimitri off his mind as Gwen becomes defensive. Tuesday's episode of Days of Our Lives revisits a chilling discovery that was once pushed aside. The human remains found in the Demera crypt are no longer a forgotten detail. They have now been examined and officially identified. As answers begin to surface, secrets, strained relationships, and unanswered questions take center stage across Salem. Viewers may remember when Theo discovered bones while being held captive inside the Demera crypt. At the time, he confirmed they were human, but the revelation was largely ignored, as his relatives were distracted by other pressing matters. Now, the remains are back in focus, and this time, their identity has been determined. The revelation raises immediate questions about which missing Demera family member the bones could belong to. With the mystery resurfacing, the past Theo uncovered can no longer be brushed aside. As the investigation moves forward, Chad makes the deliberate choice to keep certain crucial details from Theo. His decision to withhold information sparks concern, especially given the family history tied to the crypt. This secrecy leads to deeper speculation, including whether the identified remains could be connected to Theo's mother, Lexi. Chad's reluctance to be fully transparent suggests the truth may be more complicated and potentially more painful than anyone is prepared to face. Elsewhere in Salem, EJ's return does little to mend family ties. Kristen has no patience for her brother, overwhelmed by recent losses and ongoing challenges. She believes she has lost her brother Peter, and the presence of Dr. Rolfe nearby only fuels suspicion that more is happening behind the. At the same time, Kristen is dealing with her daughter Rachel's increasingly difficult behavior. With emotions stretched thin, she has no interest in hearing anything EJ has to say. Paulina and Abe continue working closely to serve the community, presenting a united front. However, Paulina temporarily puts an important vote aside as her worry for Chanel consumes much of her attention. Meanwhile, Abe remains focused on reaching Liam, who keeps attending reading lessons, only to angrily insist he doesn't need help. While the sessions seem unproductive, Abe begins to question whether Liam's behavior points to something more troubling beneath the surface. Jackie Harry is not just stepping into the role of Paulina Price on Days of Our Lives. She is redefining what it means to be a powerful figure in daytime entertainment. As a scene-stealing star known for her unique blend of humor and depth, Harry emphasizes that her character embodies a delicate balance of authority, family loyalty, and community engagement. This move serves as a tactical hedge against the typical melodrama that often dominates soap operas, reflecting societal expectations of women in leadership. Harry describes Paulina Price as strong, forthright, honest, and playful, traits that resonate deeply as Price confronts challenges such as her daughter's successful cancer treatment and the impending joy of a new grandchild. Yet, in true soap fashion, Harry foreshadows an upheaval as the narrative tension ramps up. "I like tension. The actor in me wants tension," she admitted, indicating that the serene moments in Price's life will soon be shattered. This layered performance not only showcases Harry's range, but also challenges viewers to consider the complexities of personal and political life. Harry's portrayal of Price reflects a growing demand for authentic representation of Black women in media. By infusing her character with both political acumen and maternal warmth, Harry not only elevates soap operatic storytelling, but also aligns with broader cultural dialogues surrounding leadership and women's roles. With her candid reflections on her career, Harry navigates the intersection of celebrity and authenticity, reminding audiences that vulnerability can coexist with strength. The influence of Harry's character extends beyond Days of Our Lives. In the United States, the representation of women of color in leadership roles resonates deeply with audiences eager for stories that reflect their realities. In the UK, where diversity in media is increasingly scrutinized, Harry's role may inspire similar narratives in British soaps. Australia, with its vibrant television landscape, could also experience an uptick in character-driven dramas that echo Price's multifaceted persona, reinforcing the notion that stories about powerful women can traverse cultural boundaries. The artistic choice to feature Jackie Harry as Mayor Paulina Price creates a compelling narrative anchor in Days of Our Lives. With a fusion of humor, warmth, and authority, she promises to not only entertain, but also challenge perceptions of leadership in both soap operas and beyond. Days of Our Lives spoilers and photos for January 28th offer a sneak peek at what will happen in Salem. Among the day's events, Kayla and Marlena will celebrate milestones while Rafe delivers some disturbing news to Abe, and more. Let soap opera news break it down for you. It's been a minute since Johnny was able to catch up with his granddad Roman. After all, Johnny and Chanel recently adopted a little one, so they are busy. But on top of that, they've got good news to share. They are expecting, and they can't wait to meet their little bundle of joy. Johnny is holding down the fort at Demira Enterprises, but here he and Kate talk about a business matter. Could that matter be related to the family company, which Kate would know a little something about? Or is this about something else entirely? Here, Johnny seems to be showing both Roman and Kate something special. We know neither of them was present for little Trey's christening, so could Johnny be showing them pictures rom big day? Or maybe he is just showing them photos of how the little one is growing fast. Alex, Stephanie, Jada, and Steve are all busy hatching a plan to draw out Stephanie's stalker. They all thought it was Jeremy, but the evidence they had didn't do them any good. Now they must finalize a plan to catch the real stalker, who is already one step ahead of them. Can their plan eventually work? These spoiler photos tease just what to expect on the upcoming episode. Between the business talk and all, January 28th looks packed with moments that you cannot miss. What are you looking forward to most? Let us know in the comments section below. Days of Our Lives is stacking the week of January 26-30 with familiar faces, long-missed returns, and a few surprise appearances that shake up ongoing storylines. Several key characters are stepping back into the spotlight, promising courtroom drama and family tension. So, who is joining and leaving Days of Our Lives this week? Here's a list. Judy Evans. She makes her return on Thursday, January 29th, stepping back into the role of Bonnie Kyriakis. The Daytime Emmy winner has been part of the show for years, and her comeback plays right into the Kyriakis family drama set to unfold later in the week. Dan Feuerriegel. Feuerriegel is also back this week as E.J. Demera, appearing again after being off-screen for roughly a month. Alice Halsey. She comes back as Rachel Black on Friday, January 30th, sharing the screen with her mom, Kristen Demera, and her aunt, Belle Black. Tina Huang. Over on Thursday, January 29th, Huang returns as Melinda Trask, bringing her tough, no-nonsense lawyer energy back to Salem. Wally Kurth. Huang is joined by fan-favorite Wally Kurth as Justin Kyriakis. Melissa Reeves. She steps in as Jennifer Horton Devereaux, crossing paths with Justin and giving viewers a classic Horton-Kyriakis moment to enjoy. Hank Northrup. Hank makes an appearance as Liam Selejko on Tuesday, January 27th, appearing in scenes alongside Abe Carver, played by James Reynolds. Louise Sorrell. Closing out the week, Sorrell is back as the iconic Vivian Alamain on Friday, January 30th. Her return is a big deal for longtime fans, since Vivian has been stirring up trouble on Days since her debut back in '92. Richard Wharton. Richard reprises his role of Dr. Rolfe on Monday, January 26th, having scenes with Emily O'Brien. There are no confirmed exits scheduled for Days of Our Lives this week. All appearances point to returns and short-term arcs rather than departures, keeping Salem's roster firmly intact as January comes to a close. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, January 23rd bring the week to a close with tensions rising in Salem as Jennifer insists on getting the answers she feels Chad has been avoiding. What began as a calm attempt to resolve family matters takes an unexpected turn, while other residents face decisions that could quietly shift long-running dynamics. Jennifer pushes Chad after mediation hits a wall. Jennifer, Jack, and Chad sit down for mediation in hopes of reaching a fair agreement over Thomas and Charlotte's custody. At first, the discussion seems to be moving in the right direction, with all sides appearing open to compromise. That progress comes to a sudden halt when Thomas speaks up and makes it clear he does not agree with the direction things are heading. While surprising, his reaction echoes concerns Jennifer has been holding back. Jennifer's main issue remains Chad's personal life, particularly the choices he continues to make when it comes to who he dates. The presence of Kat remains a sticking point for her, raising the question of whether Chad can offer reassurances that will finally ease Jennifer's fears. If he agrees to distance himself from Kat once again, will Jennifer be willing to step back into the role of grandmother rather than guardian? Marlena's possible return raises new questions. Elsewhere, Sarah suggests that Marlena consider returning to work, an idea Marlena finds appealing. Taking the suggestion seriously, Marlena even extends an offer to Kat, proposing that she step back into her former position. Kat hesitates, uncertain about leaving her current role working for EJ. That hesitation does not sit well with Marlena, who clearly dislikes the idea of Kat remaining tied to EJ. This development raises another question entirely. Will Marlena share these updates with Belle? And if she does, could it complicate things further? Belle may insist she has no lingering feelings for EJ, but whether that remains true under scrutiny is another matter altogether. A stalker closer than expected? Stephanie and Alex move forward with a carefully planned strategy designed to draw out Stephanie's stalker. Their approach is calculated, with the hope that the culprit will reveal themselves under pressure. Steve continues working the case as well, while Jada offers what limited assistance the Salem Police Department can provide. Despite the effort, progress remains slow, and uncertainty hangs over the investigation. Alex believes he has identified the likely culprit, pointing the finger at Jeremy. Jeremy, however, has consistently maintained his innocence and has found a strong supporter in Julie, who believes him and stands by his side. With new evidence entering the picture, the situation becomes more complicated. What Julie does next, and how Stephanie and Alex respond, could change everything. As Salem heads into the weekend, unanswered questions and rising suspicions leave relationships strained, and the truth still frustratingly out of reach.